everyone, it's John from What Up, and welcome back to another video, and happy Wheel of Time Wednesday. Now today we have a few tidbits of news preceding this weekend's New York Comic Con panels. Yeah, Friday night we are going to see both Lord of the Rings and the Wheel of Time share the same stage. I'm going to talk about why that's a good thing later on in the video, but we have a couple of other things I want to discuss today. First being a couple of social media posts from the cast, and they're kind of neat, and they do mean something, especially to the hardcore fans, as well as behind-the-scenes photos that were posted by a London-based production company. Now, these aren't really leaks, they're due to Season 1, and they were posted on Instagram, and I assume with the full support of Sony and Amazon, because they're still up, but we're going to look at them and talk about them because they are pretty cool. Now, if you're new to the channel, you don't know what we do here, we cover Wheel of Time show news, so anything and everything to do with Wheel of Time, that's what we talk about here. So if you like fantasy, if you like fantasy news, if you like adaptations, this is probably the channel for you. Make sure you click that subscribe button and the notification bell, and remember, we are starting up Cosmere videos very soon, and I am doing some small things with Lord of the Rings because, let's face it, Rings of Power is a fantastic and huge show, and I am on the after show on Sundays on Fellowship of the Fans. So if you want to catch that, make sure you go over there around 3:30 Eastern every Sunday, and it's a whole lot of fun. So we're doing fantasy stuff here. If you like that, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Now, before I get into the actual video, I want to announce that my 3rd anniversary video, yes, it's been 3 years since I've started this, is coming out October 17th, and I have 2 very, very special guests on the channel. And I don't want to spoil it, but I will give you a hint. The theme is family, and this is a Wheel of Time show-related channel, so I'll let you kind of figure out, or maybe guess or speculate in who I could have on the channel for that particular video, but watch for it October 17th, and I want to hear who your guesses are in the comments down below. Now, before we get into the actual news, I do have to give a slight spoiler warning because, well, I'm going to speculate just a bit, and I may be talking about things that might happen during Season 2 and have happened during Season 1. So, spoiler warning, in today's video, we're talking about news that I have to speculate on, so if you haven't seen the first 8 episodes, that's the first season of Sony and Amazon's Wheel of Time show, be forewarned, I might ruin plot points and minor character arcs from the series, and if you haven't read the first 3 books of Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time series, that's The Eye of the World, The Great Hunt, and The Dragon Reborn, I might ruin some stuff from them too. Just minor stuff, but you've been warned. Alright, let's get on to the video. Right, so we're going to start off this very artistic photo I have here, and this comes from Shoshana Stradowski's Instagram. Now, if you haven't already guessed, he actually finished the series. Now, when he was cast in the role as Rand al'Thor, he picked up the books and he started reading them because he wanted to stay true to the character, and let's face it, he wanted to know what he was getting into, and, well, he's now completely done with the series, which is a monumental achievement for anyone, but more so for an actor who's spending hours and hours on the set and probably researching a lot of notes that are based on the show and not the actual books. So kudos to Yosha for reading the entire series. I'm really glad he did. I know a number of the other cast have also read bits and pieces of the books, and they're starting to read the series. I can't recall a single other cast member that's announced that they've completely finished the series, though. So if you know who they are, if you know anyone who's finished the series that I don't know about, let me know in the comments down below. But Yosha is all done, and he's got to see the very end how Rand does his full arc all the way through. And I can't give spoilers because, of course, I didn't give full book spoilers, but it's really neat, and I would love to hear his thoughts on this. I'd like to hear his thoughts just in the book series because, let's face it, he's playing the main character. Now, we're going to talk about Wheel of Time, Comic-Con. This is happening Friday, October 7th at 4:15 p.m. Eastern on the Empire stage. So you can buy digital tickets online if you can't make it to New York, like I can't. And you can also go there in person. I know a number of people who watch the channel are there in person. If you happen to be there, if you happen to take video of the panel, I know sometimes it's frowned upon, but sometimes they do allow it. They did at San Diego Comic-Con. If they allow it, reach out to me. My contact information is in the About section of the channel. Let me know about it. I'd love to get some people's reactions that were there, maybe some photos or video of the panel. That would be absolutely fantastic. But what are they going to talk about? Well, we weren't entirely sure, but now we have a little bit more information. So we knew they were going to share the stage with Lord of the Rings. Basically, the panels are up there at the same time, and they're going to be going back to back. That is an incredibly smart move, in my opinion, because let's face it, Wheel of Time has had sort of a resurgence. Now, I know a lot of you that watch this channel and a lot of people out there don't like the show, and that's absolutely fine. You're allowed not to like the show, but there is a massive fan base of both people who love and enjoy the books and people who have never read the books before at all. But there are a big majority of people, and we're talking lots and lots of people who didn't even know the show existed. The marketing for the show exactly wasn't stellar when it came out. There were people finding out about it every other week, and there's still, to this day, I'm still getting messages from people finding out about it. But when Lord of the Rings Rings of Power came out, they were smart about it, and they ran some ads at the beginning and sometimes at the end of each of the Lord of the Rings episodes when you're watching it on Prime, because let's face it, it's a similar type of show, and it roped in a ton of new viewers. Wheel of Time experienced sort of a renaissance period, if you would, a whole resurgence of people coming back in, and I don't even know if I use those words correctly. Let's say it's not a renaissance period, because I probably used that wrong, but they experienced a big resurgence of viewers, and a whole lot of people found the show for the very first time. They took to Twitter, they took to Reddit, they took to Facebook even, and they were talking about the show. And these are people that haven't read the books. They don't know about the Wheel of Time. They didn't know it existed, and they're loving the show. So having the Lord of the Rings and Wheel of Time panels kind of complement each other is a big win for the Wheel of Time, because let's face it, it's something that every Wheel of Time fan has to admit. The Lord of the Rings fandom dwarfs our fandom in every way, shape, and form. It is absolutely massive. It's huge. It's better entrenched than the Wheel of Time fandom. But we are benefiting from the limelight, which is very good. Now, this is the new information I was talking about. They posted this the other day. These are the people that are going to be in person. They're actually at the panel. We'll have Rafe Judkins, the showrunner, Daniel Henney, who plays Lan Mandragoran. We'll have Madeline Madden, who plays Egwene Alvear. Marcus Rutherford, who plays Perrin Ibera. Donald Finn. He is the recast for Matt Cawthon in Season 2, and of course, Sierra Covenant, who plays Elaine. Now, this is pretty interesting because Donald Finn has done absolutely zero press for the show. Nothing. Since he was cast as Matt, they kind of announced it, and that was it. And nothing else has been said. They were really hush-hush about Barney Harris leaving the production for Season 1. He kind of skipped out between episodes 6 and 7. They had to do a bunch of rewrites. It caused a lot of havoc. And there's a whole lot of reasons why, I'm sure, but none of it was ever really announced, and they kind of had to edit some of that stuff in funny ways and rewrite the scripts. So we didn't know what was happening for Matt for Season 2. Now, Donald Finn is an Irish actor, and he is going to play Matt Cawthon in Season 2 and beyond, as far as we know. The joke has been sort of that they're going to recast Matt every season, but I don't think so, because he's actually doing press this time. And fun fact, this is the very first time we're going to see a Matt Cawthon actor do press, I believe. I don't think Barney Harris did much, if any, press for the first season at all. He did a few interviews and stuff here and there with Deadline on set and whatnot, but I don't think he did any cons or appearances like this, like in person. So seeing Matt on stage is something that a lot of fans have been very, very hungry for, and it's a smart move by Amazon to have him up there. Now, what are they going to announce? Well, I really don't know, but here's what I'm thinking. My guess is, and I would put money on this, is that we're probably going to get either a short teaser and a release date, a poster and a release date, and maybe some castings. The castings are kind of a long shot. They may not do that, although it would be safe for them to release some of the castings of things that have already been leaked. But I don't think they may not go that far. But with Lord of the Rings there, they're going to want to draw in as many fans as possible with their eyeballs glued to the stage for Lord of the Rings. So a teaser and a release date, or a poster or something flashy in a release date, would certainly cause a big hubbub among both fandoms. So my guess is we'll get a teaser and a release date, or perhaps a poster and a release date, and maybe, just maybe if we're lucky, we'll get some castings too. And usually these things, they do a Q&A, they'll ask some questions from the audience. Some of them are vetted beforehand, some of them are not, so I don't know how that's going to go exactly, but I'm really excited to see what they do with this panel. And of course, like I said, I'll be covering it, so anybody who can't watch it, who can't get the digital ticket, or is busy this weekend, look for my videos probably early next week. We're talking Monday evening, maybe Tuesday. I'll have a bunch of videos just on this stuff, what was said, and breaking down all the little tidbits. Now, we're going to go on to this. This is Lucky Spots. They are a post-production company based in London, and they put up some posts on Instagram, and they're pretty interesting posts. It's just a few behind-the-scenes photos, but this is something a year ago that everybody would have jumped all over, because let's face it, there was very little in the way of releases, official ones anyway. So this is really nice to see, and we're seeing some of the sets here behind the scenes. We're seeing the inside of the forge, this is beautiful. Look at this. It's absolutely amazing. You see the woodpile in the back, repair and grab the axe. And then, of course, Uda Brizowitz here on the slide. And then this image here, that's Egwene and Perrin, and this is, I believe, where they jumped off the walls of Shadar Logoth, because it looks like the same brick in the background, and they're wearing pretty much the same costumes. So I think this is where they jumped off into the river. Of course, into the river and whatnot with CG, but this part, of course, was all done real, so they jumped down onto this mat. Really, really interesting, really neat to see these things, and I'm glad that we're finally starting to see some behind-the-scenes stuff come out for Season 1. Now, there's one last thing I want to mention before I let you folks go today, and that is that recently IMDb has been updated to show that Wheel of Time Season 2 is releasing in 2022. There's been kind of a hubbub on Reddit, as well as Twitter, Facebook. People are talking about it all over social media, but I want to caution you folks that pretty much anyone can edit IMDb if they have an account. So this may not be official news. I'm guessing that Amazon and Sony probably wouldn't announce a 2022 release date just by changing the dates in IMDb. I would take this one with a massive block of salt. I don't think it's actually going to release this year at all. Now, don't get me wrong, I would be very, very happy if it did. If we got a November or even a December release time frame, say this was starting to take over some of the other spots of some of the popular shows that Amazon no longer airs, I would love that. But I don't think so. I think they want to give Lord of the Rings some breathing room, and I believe we probably won't see Season 2 to next year, early next year, probably in the first or second quarter. That's my guess anyway. That's what I've been hearing. So if we get the show this year, if we get Season 2 at the end of the year, I'd be very happy. But you got to remember, they just wrapped filming not too long ago, just a few short months ago, and there's a whole lot of VFX, there's a whole lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes, and those companies are kind of strapped right now. They're working overtime. You've heard all the horror stories coming out of the Marvel productions. So my guess is our wait time between Season 1 and 2 is not only due to the fact that it's Lord of the Rings, but probably due to the fact that they want to get the post-production stuff right. But again, that's just a guess on my part. Let me hear your thoughts down below in the comment section. Do you think that this change in IMDb means we'll get it this year, or is it more likely that we're going to get it next year and this was just somebody having a bit of fun? Let me know. Anyway, thank you so very much for sticking with me here to the very end, and here's to many more.